Hello there everyone and welcome back to Tune Talk with Andy. In today's episode, we will be discussing Abbey Road by the Beatles. This is a legendary album. I'm sure you've heard of it. If you have not, I am sure your parents or your aunts, uncles, dead grandparents, at least some of them will have heard of it. I brought AGP with me today. He knows a lot about music. I do not. This channel is about people who don't know about music. That's why I'm the host. The Beatles are known for being one of the legendary rock bands throughout the ages. They are a huge part of music history. They cemented a basic foundation for what future rock was to become, and they have also influenced pop culture as a whole with their existence, basically. From Abbey Road to
Sgt. Pepper, Rubber Souls, if that's what they're called. Just every album, man.
Absolutely, they
Please Me and everything. Oh, Beatles.
Yeah, they're very consistent, and they are beloved by basically all of society, unless people are edgy and trying to hate on them, because they're usually acknowledged as one of the top dogs. But regardless, the band members are, well, the most famous ones are John Lennon, who got assassinated by some random dunny on the street. Paul McCartney, still alive today, went on to have a great solo career of his own. We also then have Ringo Starr, the drummer of the band, and then last of all we have George Harrison, that's the one. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the first song, which is called Come Together. I am sure most people will have heard this song. It's quite a popular one. I gave this an 8 out of 10, purely because this is such an uplifting song, and the message is just, it's important. It's important for people to come together and just have a vibe. That's at least the vibe I gathered from this song. It's quite self-explanatory. It comes from the song. I love everything from the uplifting instrumentals to the... I'm not a big fan of the vocals, but I feel like they do the job quite well. Feels like anyone can sing this type of song. But all around, I gave this an 8 out of 10. What do you think?
Oh wow. Talk about iconicism. That's the perfect word to describe the Beatles. Come Together, man. What a song, you know. First of all, the amazing bass line. You know, Paul McCartney had some amazing bass lines, you know. There may not be like technical, they're no technical masterminds, you know, but they really know how to write music, and that's the most important part. One of the most iconic bass lines. I really like the drums too. Like they're not too difficult. Very easy drums, but Ringo Starr, he held the groove, he held the beat. That's his job, and he executed it really good. I really like the verse, especially the vocal rhythm that they incorporated there. This song is just groovy as. It's got an awesome chorus. It's just a really badass song. I also like the small, short little, simple guitar solo that they added in there, so I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Nice, that's fair. Next song?
So, next song on the list is called Something. I love the bass on this. Wow. I love Paul McCartney bass. What a surprise, I guess. Great vocals. I mean, I say that about most Beatles songs. Maybe not technically demanding, but who cares? Everybody can sing a Beatles song, and everybody knows at least one Beatles song. That says something. Also love it when the guitar plays the chorus melody right after the chorus. Gives a little good reflection on it, I guess. Also great bridge. 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Nice. Well, it seems like we have quite different opinions there. I gave this a 6 out of 10. That's simply because this song is not memorable to me. I do agree with you that the bass is really nice, but other than that, I can't really find any reason for me personally listening to this outside of the album. But there's just something about this song that's missing. Again, I'm not a big fan of the vocals overall, the vocal runs, and the lyrics as well. They feel quite simple on most Beatles songs, but then again, this was back in a time when most songs weren't overly complicated. They were made through passion and made for a purpose, and it feels like this intended purpose did not hit me first. So a 6 out of 10 felt reasonable for me, because I do not dislike this song, but I do not really like this song. Right, so next up we have Maxwell's Silver Hammer, and I've just got to say that this song just doesn't really sit with me quite well. The intro just sounds like some weird lullaby that a dad is trying to sing to his son, and to me that's just not the type of music I'm after. The vocals, they're really poor, at least on this song specifically. The chorus is quite nice though, I will give it that. It's quite, I would actually say it's quite funky, at least for what they're going for. But here comes the names again, man. Like most prog names are weird, but in this instance we have a rock/pop type thing with a weird name, Maxwell Silverhammer. But yeah, I gave this a 6.5 out of 10. It's not for me personally. What do you think?
That's just disrespectful, you know. I gave this song a 9 out of 10. Go f*** yourself. This song is just fun as f***, you know. This chorus is just amazing. I mean, I have like this kind of true belief that every Beatles song has a great chorus. And that's just objective fact and truth. I don't care about your opinion, that's just fact. Shut up. Great piano on this song, man. Vocals are great too. I don't know what this guy's waffling about. Just kidding. Yeah. This song is jolly as f***. Also some great synth inclusion after the first chorus. Also some great synth inclusion after the first chorus. Now onto a song I know this guy loves. Oh Darling. Oh, what a song. If you say this song has bad vocals, I'm actually gonna execute you live on camera. Because the vocals are just amazing. Passionate, that's one word to at least describe it. It's got a great intro, an amazing bridge, though I don't really have a lot to say about it, but I love this song, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, honestly, this is hands down the best Beatles song out there. This is my personal favourite, and first of all, the vocals on this, they're phenomenal. This is the Beatles done right, especially vocally speaking. The way they just distorted their voice when they did this, it's phenomenal. This is exactly how I like classical rock, with a bit of distortion, and they definitely nailed it damn well here. The instrumentals, they build up to the vocals really damn well. The chorus is catchy, the intro is nice. All around, it's just done. It's phenomenal. I gave this a 9 out of 10. Really love this song. Next up, we have a song that I know that this lad enjoys. It's Octopus's Garden. This might actually be the first Beatles song I ever heard back in primary school. I believe I was like 10 or 11 maybe. And at the time, I thought it was, yeah, this is okay. Then I grew up. I had a period when I just despised certain bands. And the Beatles was one of them. Well, this song fell under my hate category for some reason. I was, probably hormones and stuff. I have no excuse to justify it, but at the time I would have given it a 3 out of 10. But here, I have grown a competent brain, my hormones have relaxed, and this is a 7.5 out of 10 for me. It's simply because I feel like the average Beatles song is around 7 to 7.5 out of 10, simply because it's there to keep a vibe going, and it's there to send a message, and I feel like it's consistent. It's consistently nice, it's well written, and yeah, it's Octopus's Garden, man. When you're in an Octopus's Garden, there's just plenty of things to see. What are your thoughts?
Octopus's Garden, talk about the favourite Beatles song of mine. Oh, I love this. I actually have it written as a 9.5 for some reason. This is actually a 10 out of 10. Oh, I love Octopus's Garden. Yeah, well, whilst we're talking about songwriting and that, the Beatles are the greatest songwriters of all time. I mean, that's just, I would just call it a fact almost. Because once you look at, the career and what they did produce, the evidence clearly points to it. But yeah, let's talk about the music itself. Oh, this is a song that Ringo Starr wrote with some help from George Harrison, I believe. And we get a cool little guitar lick to kick us off. Oh, this song is also just jolly as fuck. Oh, really great vocal melodies. I love the pre-chorus. Ringo is just bae. I love the backing vocals too. Great outro. Oh, I love Octopus's Garden. I could simp to this song for ages. But yeah, next up is I Want You, She's So Heavy. Yeah, great intro on this song as well. I really like that the guitar follows the vocal melody. Excellent instrumentals, good vocals, backing vocals. 9 out of 10 for me. That's just peak Beatles this. On to you.
That's fair. I do agree that the intro is quite nice and the instrumentals are just on point, but everything else about this song just feels empty to me personally. The vocals are actually quite good here as well, doing something somewhat similar to what they did on Oh Darling, just not as distorted. But this still was done well. But all around, this just feels like an empty song that was made far too long. The Beatles are meant to be short and sweet for me personally, so when they introduce a 7.5-minute song, that just doesn't work for me, just doesn't sit right. So I gave this a 6.5 out of 10. and I will stick by that rating. Next up, we have another iconic song, which is called Here Comes the Sun. And this is just such a sweet song. This is one that I could conceive a child to be honest. It's really nice, really soothing, and the lyrics are actually quite nice there. I do like them. It's written really well, not sure who wrote it, but the instrumentals writing into the vocals just done so well. The chorus is iconic at its best. I think this is well placed as an 8 out of 10. What are your thoughts?
Here comes the Sun. Written by George Harrison at least. It's at least sung by him, so this is a 9 out of 10 for me. I mean, the intro is just one of the most iconic guitar intros of all time. Lovely vocals, I love the keys, some great harmonies, great bridge. Yeah, yet again, I don't really have a lot of the music stuff to point out about this. Yeah, from one iconic song, let's go to the next, and I believe this is the start of the Abbey Road medley. Yeah, it's Because. So yeah, we get a cool little clean guitar intro. Some excellent harmonies in the verses, I noticed. Great synth, also it's a good length for the song too. Actually, the perfect length for it, I would say. It's not stretched out, it's not too short. Yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. What are your thoughts?
Right, Because is one of those songs that I just really don't care about. I do like the intro instrumentals that slowly builds up to the introduction of the vocals, but when they come with lines like "it turns me on" or "how you turn me on," etc., it's just so moist, so wet, and so downright cringe for me personally. I just get a weird sensation.
Was that a joke?
Huh?
It's so moist, so wet.
Now, honestly, it just doesn't sit right with me. It just throws me off. I do not want to hear what people are turned on by. I simply do not care. I want lyrics to be meaningful, so when they're not, and they're just empty and wild, I just can't be bothered listening to the song. Again, the instrumentals are fine, doing their job as they usually do. I do like the harmony bit quite a bit, but other than that, I don't really care for the song, so I gave this a 6.5 out of 10. Much like the next song on the album, You Never Give Me Your Money. You never do. One thing I really like about You Never Give Me Your Money is probably when the bass line is introduced. It's really nice. The vocals are quite subpar. It honestly feels like their voice is just cracking consistently. And I don't understand why. Is that part of the genre? Is that part of time? Is it the production? I don't know. But when voices are shaky like that, it throws me off and I can't be bothered. I don't care for the song again. It's still fine. It's nothing I'd listen to outside of the album, but I did, as I said, give it a 6.5 out of 10. Because this just feels like more of a filler song for the album than something that's meant to be something unique or special. What are your thoughts?
No, personally, I'm under the belief that most albums in that have no filler songs. That's personally my personal opinion, you know. Well, apart from like all these, I'm gonna almost go on a rant. I'm not gonna do that, but all these, you know, corporate artists like Taylor Swift now, that's basically just write everything to a formula and see what sticks or not. Do that for 60 albums and then call it a day. Make lots of money. But yeah. On to the Beatles again. I don't really know what you hate with the vocals are. They are just lovely.
Not for me personally.
They truly are.
There is a charm there, but it just doesn't fit my taste.
The song has a good intro. I love the bass and the piano though. Third verse especially, it's excellent. Some great vocalizations too in the instrumental break. Great outro. One of the higher points of the Abbey Road medley for me personally, so I gave this a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Now on to a bit of a worse song from the Beatles. It's called Sun King. Or I don't actually think this was too bad actually. I just think it's really short. I don't know the runtime for it though. Yeah, it's got a decent intro. This mostly sounds like doodling though, like they're kind of jamming and just trying to put that on the records. See what sticks maybe, something stuck. Some stuck, something else just didn't really work for me. Decent chorus though. It's a pleasant song, but it's nothing I put on personally. I enjoy it if I listen to it on the album though. Personally, I never skip a song on any album, regardless, but that's just me. So 6 out of 10 for me.
I do actually agree with the fact that you said it sounds a bit like doodling or they're just jamming a bit. To me, I just envision me going into their studio, I hear them jam this, and then I'm like, okay, I hear that. Now, let's get serious. Like, what's the next song? It just feels like something that maybe shouldn't have been on here. It's not bad, it's just, it doesn't feel like a complete song to me. And I gave this a 5.5 for a reason. It's just not really for me, not really for the album, in my personal opinion. The instrumentals, they're fine as usual, but it just doesn't feel like it has a purpose, which is what I'm after, especially with these classic albums. So it just feels really empty to me. 5.5 out of 10. The worst song so far. Next up, however, we have a Me and Mr. Mustard. Again, with the weird names, I gave this a 6.5 out of 10. And the reason why is, if you guys have seen an episode of Family Guy, when Quagmire and Peter Griffin just come together and make this two-man band, and they sing these really short songs with just somewhat of a vibe, but nothing else to it, like 1-minute songs. It feels like this is one of those songs, Me and Mr. Mustard. It's like 1 minute long. It's not bad, it's just, it doesn't feel like a song. Feels more like something people would play at a library, just outside of these silent hours. And yeah, it's just a bit iffy, but I can't give it any lower than 6.5 because when you are listening to it, it is quite funky. I will give it that. But other than that, man, it's just so empty. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this song is just way too short, so I threw it under the transition little rule that you have, so I gave this a 5 out of 10. Just very short song, but pleasant vocals and vocal melodies, and that's just about it for me. Now, on to Holy Fiend Pam. Yeah, that's it. Abrupt transition though from Me and Mr. Mustard. I don't really know how I feel about that. It's a very fun song, but also a very short song, and therefore I can't give it above a 5.5 out of 10. So yeah, go on.
Well, this song is just far too repetitive for me personally. Again, it's another one of those short songs. Feels like they're just spamming a bunch of songs to extend on the album, / add more content to their fans. But yeah, it's so repetitive, the vocals are so nasally and just so iffy, it just doesn't sit right with me. It might be because of their style, it might be because of the microphones at the time, but for me, this is just not that pleasant. It's still not a bad listen because, I mean, the instrumentals never really go wrong on a Beatles album. So I gave this a 6 out of 10, purely because of the instrumentals. Everything else is below 5 to be honest, but I will stick with the 6 out of 10. Next up we have She Came In Through the Bathroom Window. This is such a poor song. It's just downright mediocre at best. Nothing really to add to the song. It's roughly 2 minutes, just for the sake of being 2 minutes. The instrumentals are fine again. I do like the riff, everything else is just disappointing. The vocals again, really disappointing. I'm sorry to say this, but I just do not care for these vocals. I only like, so far I've only enjoyed 2 Beatles songs on this album, if you strictly think about the vocals. And again, those are Oh Darling and Here Comes the Sun, I reckon. I think it was those. But regardless, such an empty song. I give it a 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, this is just short song as well. I'll never understand anybody who doesn't like the vocals in the Beatles. That's just me personally, but I honestly see no fault with them, no problem. I can't even remember one song where there's even one thing I disliked about the vocals. So yeah, She Came In Through the Bathroom Window. I love that title. 6 out of 10. There's not a lot to say about these songs on side 2. Great backing vocals though, decent vocal melodies, but it's a fun song, but nothing I'd put on as a standalone song. But now onto, I love this next song, Golden Slumbers. This song is just beautiful, oh man. It's got great vocals. If you say it doesn't, I'm gonna kill you, but I love the inclusion of strings as well. I really enjoy the chord progression too, but this song is just too short. They could probably expand upon it a bit, maybe develop it a bit more. Just to have it more, just to maybe get you thinking a bit more. Probably just reading a bit into it, but from at least what I remember. This sounds like a deep song, but yeah, I gave this an 8 out of 10.
Honestly, I agree with most of your points. The vocals are fine here. There's nothing awful, nothing amazing. It does the job quite well. And I do agree that the instrumentals overall are really good, but I feel like they could have expanded more on it. It feels like they got half of their message across, but if they just gave it more time and built a bit more upon the craft, they would have been able to fully make this cohesive story that adds everything and serves its purpose significantly better than how they presented it as it is. I gave it a 7 out of 10. If they had added a bit more to the song, it could have even been a 9. Could have competed with Oh Darling, but sadly it fell a bit short. On to the next song. Right, so this next song is called Carry That Weight, and honestly the vocals again are disappointing. The lyrics are quite simple, not a big fan of them. The instrumentals I really like, especially when they go into the introduction of the trumpet, really nice addition, and then the guitar solo, not sure how long that lasts again, but really nice, especially the way they transition the trumpet into the guitar solo, really nice. Well done overall. I initially gave this a 6 out of 10, but I think I'll give this a 6.5. Simply because, yeah, that section alone, it wasn't that long, but still, it's so enjoyable. Such a groove. Really like that. What are your thoughts?
Man, I don't know what I was smoking probably all... Sunday's a long day, you know. I had this as a 6.5 originally, but I'm thinking I might up this to 7.5 or something. Oh man, that was just fantastic listen, fantastic intro. I'm loving the vocals. Something a certain somebody doesn't.
They're just mediocre at best, man, for the most part.
No. This is just a very fun song. It's a bit short, good instrumentals though. I really love the section that you talked about. I'm a bit unsure if it's a trumpet or just like a brass section or something else, but I don't know those type of instruments very well. I can identify the basics of music, no technical master on all the things. I'm still learning a lot though, so we move, I guess. Now, from Carry That Weight, we go over to the end, which is actually not the end of the album.
Who would have thought?
Oh, this song, man. Good drumming, great vocals, good song, nothing too special. Not another 6.5. This is a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, honestly, this might be the only song that we 100% agree with. I gave this a 6.5 as well. And, well, yeah, as you said, I actually do like the drumming as well. For once, I've noticed the drumming and giving them positive feedback on a Beatles album.
No Ringo hate for this day.
I don't hate Ringo Starr, it's just that he...
You repeatedly call him ugly.
Let me talk.
No.
The thing about Ringo Starr is that he's the least memorable for me personally. Harrison at least has a swag about him, whereas Ringo he's a big nose merchant.
Have you seen Ringo Starr nowadays?
Yep, he's sexy these days, he's funky and he's delicious looking these days. But back in the day, man, he was a long nose merchant. That's all he was. He's a good drummer though, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I give this a 6.5 as well. And yeah, solid drumming. The vocals, I'm not a big fan of them. But yeah, it's nothing obscenely special. It's nothing that sticks out from the rest of the album. And moving on to the last song, which is basically just them signing off the album after saying the end for some reason. It's like they have post-credits just past the ending. Fair enough, but it's 25 seconds long, man. So it has to fall under the neutral ground, which is 5 out of 10. That's where we just chuck the ones we fully just can't rank. We can't rank songs that are 25 seconds long. They would all just be 1 out of 10 or like 0.5 at best. But yeah, what do you think?
So when we're talking about the Beatles masterpieces, you know, we have to talk about Her Majesty. Personally, this is a 10 out of 10 for me, a perfect sign-off for a perfect album.
You're a troll!
No, on a real note, this, just same shit as he said, I guess. Literally 25 seconds long. Can't rank anything. I can't even remember it, but yeah, it's just ending credits.
Yeah, it's mostly just background noise, nothing special. Right, so if we add all of my ratings together and then divide them by the number of songs, we do exclude 5 out of 10s because they can't be ranked, so when they're placed at that, it would significantly decrease the overall score, and I don't feel like that's fair to do. So I took the first 16 songs, added them together, and then divided them by the number of songs, as I said, and I got 6.7, which is really low, but it's mostly, don't get me wrong, the first half of the album is phenomenal. I will say that. It's really good, and definitely closer to a 7.5 or an 8. But the latter half is just filled with a bunch of weird songs. Nothing special, nothing unique, nothing that sticks out. And this album as a whole, as classic as it is, I will only ever listen to the first half of the album ever again. I don't feel a need to listen to anything else. That's simply because of, well, the initial impact on the first half of the album. It's so good, and then it just falls off significantly towards the latter half of the album. What are your thoughts?
Oh, Abbey Road, this is such an iconic album, and especially the album cover, one of the most iconic ones of all time. I agree with some of the things you said. The first 7 songs are great, but the rest of the album falls off compared to them. Yet they are still a really fun listen though. This album has excellent instrumentation and arranging. I will just say that. That's one of the things Beatles, especially in the later years when they started doing a lot of experimentations, especially with different instruments. Especially if we look at Sgt. Pepper's, they did that a lot on there. They have fantastic vocals as well. The Abbey Road medley, that it isn't the greatest. I prefer listening to purely the first 7 songs. Yeah, I think they wrote the Abbey Road medley while, I think John Lennon was traveling around and stuff, and he just took lots of drugs and shit and just wrote some stuff. I don't know, that just sounds like John Lennon thing to do, but I don't know how it was written. Abbey Road isn't in my top 5 Beatles albums personally. I am a bit of a Beatles lover. They're just kinda do love Beatles. The greatest band of all time in my personal opinion. They just impacted not only music history but history itself substantially, especially if you look at Beatles Mania and stuff like that. It's just, wow, it's just insanity. We'll never have a Beatles again. And we wouldn't even have many of the bands that we love today without the Beatles. So put some respect on the Beatles name. Adding all the scores together, it gives a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this masterpiece of a Beatles album.
Yeah, honestly, I do understand why people love it. It's just that most of this is just outdated, to be honest, with the exception of the first half, as we both said. I do agree that this is not the best Beatles album, definitely not. Sgt. Pepper's is a significant improvement, especially with its consistency. But Oh Darling is definitely a song that I will carry with me moving forward. It's just downright good. But without further ado, thank you all so much for watching. We greatly appreciate you dropping by. Leave a like, comment your favorite album, and we might rank it, either whether it's me or both of us or someone else as well. Don't touch my fluff. But thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, and goodbye.